There you are.
And pose.
Okay, so are we on? Cool. So we were, this is our first workshop of the week. We talked about just general quality of movement, how to get from point A to point B, what should be activated, what shouldn't be. So we first started out with just doing some walks. Are you landing ball heel? Are you landing heel ball? Are you going all the way through the foot? Are you following through from the supported legs 5 and 6 by working from the back? The power is behind you, right? So if you're moving forward, it should be your glute, your ham, your calf, all the way down through, all the way to the tip of your toe, toeing off, making sure that you can show me where your weight's at. If we're here, that is splits weight. Our partner doesn't know where our center's at in space, right? So we have to make a decision so that she can, and vice versa, okay? From that, if we're moving backwards on a 1-2 for leaders or on a 4 for follows, we need to be still using the power behind us. So the power switches. Since we're going backwards, the power's behind us, it will be our quad. So for the leaders, 5 and 6 and 1. This is where we're getting our launch from. This is how we're getting from point A to point B. And a 1 and a 2. Together, together. Now it's from the back since we're going forward for 4. And anchor in place. I also talked about pulling the hips underneath you to establish a little bit of turnout for yourself. Dancing like this is kind of like dancing in stilettos, right? We don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. We don't have our biggest muscles to brace us. We're working a lot with our auxiliary muscles, and that just looks like a lot of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our hips up underneath us, tucking our butt, allowing our hips to splay forward. That should produce a natural turnout for you, regardless of your flexibility level. You can always work on that, but this is where your natural turnout is for now. That being said, now we have put on our sneakers. We're no longer dancing in our stilettos, right? We've got a wider base. We've got more muscles to use to resolve our balance, okay? As we're doing that, instead of walking on 2 rails or dancing on 2 rails, right, having 2 launch pads, we're gonna zip it up, we're gonna have 1 right underneath our center. So we're going to start single tracking our dancing, especially on our walks, our progressive movements forward. Okay, right here on our triples, everything right underneath your center. It's a whole lot more grounded. He can feel where your weight's at, she can feel where your weight's at, versus being split weight, okay? Now you're able to execute things a lot faster. We also talked about the sweet spot of the foot, finding that middle part of the foot where you can wiggle your toes, but also release your heels. That's the part of the foot that you want to be active the most. You might not be there consistently, right? But through every step, you're going to kind of pass through that zone. And I want you to be aware of feeling that, if you're doing that or not. Also be able to know that if you need power and grounding, digging into the floor with the balls of the feet, not landing flat-footed here, is going to give you the most power. The ball of the foot in between the first and second toes is how we're going to be powerful and kind of get into that third gear, okay? With that being said, what else did I do?
We did sugar pushes and side passes.
Sugar pushes and side pass. We talked about actively traveling on our walks and actively not traveling on our triples. Otherwise, it just looks like a lot going on. It's a lot of work for the follows. So we were doing 5 and 6 and a 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Yes. Okay. We also did a side pass with that, going a 1. If I open up, Debbie also starts to rotate her body as a reverb effect off of mine, right? I've already placed my center, now she can place hers. 3 and 4, 5 and 6. So just hanging back. I also mentioned that I'll give timing issues a second look, or I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for follows if you are late, if you are delayed. I won't give you the benefit of the doubt if you're early, because you are no longer the follow if you are early, right? We have one initiator of this dance, and it's the leader, so that means you have to be behind the initial energy, following it through and responding as needed. Yay.